There aren't any attendees.
I know, so they can't listen.
Yeah, hold on. All right, we're working. I'm hoping the internet works okay.
Well, the Costa Rican website looks really good, Robin. James and I have been looking.
Yeah, I want to talk about that real quick. Okay, I just want before we get look at this.
Your real manly tank top undershirt you got going on there.
What is that? Oh.
I went to the market today, and we bought a bunch of fruit and veggies. And there's the dudes. I don't know if you could see that.
Yeah.
So you see all these weird fruits and veggies down here in Costa Rica, and we're looking at these. The guy comes over. We're looking all like, what is this? And he opens it up.
You're looking all touristy.
And he gives us one.
Is it a nut?
This up, and it's like, it's really delicious. I have no idea what it is, so we bought a big bag.
Oh.
Yes,
you don't know if it's a nut or if
but
it's
he woke
fruit.
up 3 hours later. It's like the best.
I'm really, really stoned right now.
Is it a nut or is it fruit? It looks like it could be.
It looked like it was a nut.
Either. Yeah.
It's actually very fruity.
Oh, it's probably
like
fruit. Probably some
It's
kind of fruit.
right up your alley then.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's quite delicious. So yeah, here we are with our second ever. Here we are. Here's our handsome faces. Our second ever podcast. And here we are on YouTube. Okay, we got 83 views last month. So
Oh, did we? Well, that's not bad.
yeah, that's not bad. I mean, it's not like we're famous or anything.
Not fantastic.
Yeah,
It's the start.
We would have had more. But it's all Trump's fault.
How many did we have?
So,
83. Okay, well, 72 of those are mine. So
James really needs to get a life.
I just wanted to hear my voice.
I never even looked at it.
Just for anybody just like listening, and we're going to talk photography. My name is Rob Pravache. There's my website, my Costa Rica website, and there's my when I'm back in Ontario website, and there's Judy, who's a glamour/boudoir/photographer, and of course there's Mr. James Hodgins, and mostly mining industrial photography. James, I got a question for you before we.
I got a thing for you. I got a thing for you first, Rob. Your screen shows up on my screen for future reference about 4 seconds after you say something about it. Okay, so you got a 4-second delay on your screen to your audio.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's happening
So this
for me
is
too.
good to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just because you're so
I'm
far
gonna
away, and the sun and the coconuts are interfering with the data connection.
I'm going to blame the iguanas on that one.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll try and pace it a little more. But anybody who's watched it so far, it kind of
that's
makes
my old
sense.
website.
So, yeah. Well, you've got HodginsPhotography.com.
Yeah.
And then you've got miningindustrialphotographer.com.
I'm probably going to be closing the HodginsPhotography.com this year.
Okay. So you might, or you could just go to where the name is actually registered and forward it to mining. Right.
Well, that's what I meant. I'm not.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because that's not going to cost you much, if anything at all.
No.
Just a
So
redirect.
yeah, this was when you were big-time portraits, weddings, etc., etc. This was your design. But I've noticed, I'm just curious about something.
Sure.
Has it always been this way? You go to the home page, and the first thing you see is your most recent blog.
No.
And
No,
then it's
I
all
just
blogs, right?
no. No, that this
my
layout website is very dumbed down of what it was when I was actually.
Well, you say dumbed down, but I kind of dig it. So
it's more geared toward my mining stuff, and it's just like a little.
It's a very old-fashioned blog format, right?
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
yeah. But I kind of like that. It's simple. I mean, if you wanted a website and its only purpose was to push through a blog,
That's all that is.
what more could you ask for?
Yeah.
I still love
assuming
WordPress.
that-
Still love it.
Yeah. So you changed the layout from its original layout, is what you're saying, right?
Nope.
As far as the way it's sort of like the way everything's laid out. No, it's always been this way, where it was always the main page always.
No, I actually had a home page. I just redirected the home to my recent stuff, which obviously I don't update considering that one is September 12th, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So it shows you the last time that I actually posted onto
It
this.
was not that long ago. That was, what, 4 months? 5
I
months?
mean, I post like every third day tops. Like,
So you're pretty active with posting.
yes. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
that's good to know. So yeah, that's really good to know. We should talk about that. That's a good topic. Yeah,
Posting on your website and as opposed to what you do on social media, because the two are kind of different, right?
Yeah.
It is for me. It's a huge difference.
Yes or
Okay,
no?
why don't you talk on it for a minute or two, and then one of us can go next, and then the other one can go next, and we'll just touch on it.
For me, for my website, I try to post 2 to 3 new shoots a month.
Right.
About that. But on my social media, I post twice a day, every day. I pre-schedule it in Hootsuite.
Yep.
And it filters down to all my social media.
Well,
I can agree with you on that, because when you put it that way, I do the kind of
I'm
same.
done.
I'll post one image on my blog, but the behind-the-scenes stuff and everything is what I put onto the social media, where I wouldn't go onto my blog. The blog is still strictly the professional image and.
Exactly. And then, there are some shoots where I don't want to share the whole shoot.
Yeah.
But I've got 2 or 3, amazing images that are great for the social media type stuff.
Right.
And so those, and I use Hootsuite because it lets me filter to my groups. So my private boudoir group, I can filter to that. I can filter to my Elements of Photography fan page, and to Instagram, to Twitter, and to LinkedIn. So everything's kind of covered in that one post.
That was my next question. What are the main social media sites you post to?
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn are the ones I use.
I never use LinkedIn. Why do you use LinkedIn? I'm sure James uses LinkedIn.
It's more professionally based, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
it's
I find
it's all business people or people
right.
in the industry.
But I still get clients.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because my clients are businesswomen.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So it's still
cool.
Yeah. So I do filter into there as well, and I actually get a lot of people going in and they rate your skills. They'll go in and say, it's people basically saying that they acknowledge that you're an expert in this and an expert in that, without actually giving you a rating that'll bring it down, right?
Right.
Which is, kind of what, I have the whole rating system in Facebook turned off. Because people can go in and do a fake rating, and it can bring your whole percentage down, and it's just kind of stupid.
Yeah.
So I just have it turned off in Facebook, but in LinkedIn, it's more of a professional type thing where you're going in and you're saying this person has those skills, and I acknowledge that they have those skills. So you don't actually rate them; you just say that.
Let me ask you this: you're alone on an island. You can only bring one social media site with you. Pick one.
Instagram.
Only one. Instagram. What about the second one? Did you bring Facebook or LinkedIn?
Yeah, probably Facebook.
Okay.
Maybe it would be Twitter.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Twitter I can I'm not a tweeter. So my Instagram filters down to my Twitter account. Like when I post on Instagram, it goes to Twitter.
When I post on Instagram, it goes on Twitter.
Yeah,
but I get all the updates from Twitter on who's following me, this and that, and I get that right to my phone. For me, Twitter's a big. To me, Twitter's a big a big network.
How do you get? Yeah, well, Twitter's. Yeah, Randy Sarton's a huge believer in Twitter. And
I know.
Randy
and I are back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Just curious. How do you get your Instagram to automatically post to Twitter?
You go into your settings. You go into your settings, and in your settings in Instagram, there'll be a thing that's called linked.
I did not know that.
And you can go in there and you just click on your Facebook. If you click on the Facebook, if you're already logged in.
It'll ask you what accounts you want to link up to it. So you can link up your Facebook. You can link up everything. You can link.
My problem I'm having right now is that when I post to Instagram, I've got it to automatically upload to Twitter. But when I post anything to my Facebook, whether it's my mining or my personal page, or sorry, just my mining page, it is actually it actually puts the link onto Twitter automatically, and I can't find out how to turn that off because
That's in the settings somewhere.
Trust me, I've unlinked all my accounts. I can't find it anywhere. So now I get 3 posts every time I post it once. So I actually got to go into Twitter. Anybody watching this, if anybody's watching this, and you know what the freak I'm doing wrong, right? Send me a message. I'd really appreciate that.
I'll see if I can.
I've unlinked all my accounts except for Instagram, and I still
it would be nice to know how to fix that one.
Yeah.
There's gremlins.
Well, it's because, you do it once, right? You go in and you link it, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, you're screwed because you've done it once.
Yeah, it's like... It's like a wild world. It's like,
okay, so hold on. It could be an authorization through Twitter because you know how Facebook works, that when you go into a program, it'll ask you if you want to authorize it in Facebook?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe go into Twitter.
Trust me. I've unlinked everything. The only thing that's linked right now is my Instagram to my Twitter.
To your Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, something's happening, James.
Something's definitely going on there. Yeah.
Something is amiss.
Yeah.
But the Hootsuite's really great because you can track it all, and Hootsuite actually gives you all of your...
I just deleted my tweet.
You deleted your
like 3 days ago.
Oh.
I don't have... I can't... I don't sit at my computer enough to check that stuff out. I get, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, just look at the whole Hootsuite and all my feeds and everything at once. I'm just, the only time I'm on my feeds for anything is if I get a notification that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't really check out the feeds either. What I do check out, though, in Hootsuite are the analytics.
Analytics?
Yes. Okay, because it gives you a more thorough analytics than your actual programs do. Okay. Like, in your, you know that in Instagram you can turn your account to a business account.
Yep.
Okay.
I did not know that.
Yes, you can.
You guys are a wealth. You guys are a wealth.
So it's in your settings. Again, it's in your basic settings, and if you just scroll down far enough, it'll say, do you want to change your account to a business account? As soon as you change it to a business account in Instagram, you get analytics in Instagram.
Analytics.
Okay? So I'm eating fur. Hang on. It's got to be Gracie. I don't know. But in Hootsuite, you get it as well. You just tend to get it. It's a little more thorough because it's also reading everything. So,
James.
Yes.
Show us your mic and turn it up a bit.
Oh, okay. I'm going to start. Where's my volume here?
You sound a little distant.
I'm going to start turning up. You ready? Here I come. Is that better?
I don't know. You might be turning your...
Is this better?
Oh.
Yeah. No, yeah.
That's really clear.
That's good.
I think you got to turn the gain up just about 10%. That's all.
But now you're like kissing the mic.
Okay,
you can hear me. This mic's pretty clear, right?
Yeah, you sound, but you're on a Mac. I mean, geez, man, you got us beat.
How's that? Is that good?
That's better. Yeah. Did you turn the gain up?
I did turn the gain up.
Yeah. So see,
and I turned out even more. Yeah. How's that?
That's clear.
That's good.
All right then.
Now you got that. You got that silky smooth radio voice.
I got that radio voice going.
Yeah, definitely.
This is K105 coming live.
So Judy, that's good to know that you use those particular social media, and that's how you that pretty much describes how I do it for the most part. I'm not as organized as you are, but what I do is I do about at least one blog post a week.
Okay.
But I post on Instagram and Facebook minimum every day an image to promote the studio, and I've got a folder with a whole crap load of images put aside.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll miss a day because I'll get distracted, but other than that. And my daughter's got me on Snapchat. Apparently she's like everybody's doing the Snapchat thing, and I'm trying to figure out why and how, but because it's all mostly video, right? So.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into the whole Snapchat, Periscope, all those. Yeah, no. And the other thing, too, is I think Snapchat is, for the most part, a younger group of people.
Yeah.
Which,
but it's
to be
big.
perfectly...
It's big, apparently.
Yeah, it's really big, but they're not my clients at this point.
Worth keeping an eye on for now.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not
like,
taking
you
it
know,
too
like
serious.
Instagram, a lot of my clients use Instagram. They're all on it. I have a lot of clients who are on Instagram and not on Facebook.
Okay, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're going to hit them all. I do have to say this, though, when it comes to setting a promotion out there for my studio, Facebook is really, really hard to beat right now.
Well,
I'm not
but
taking
you
it for
know
granted
that
that's going to last.
when you do it for Facebook, you can say include Instagram. There's a little checkpoint there. Check it off.
Well, like I'm talking about paid ads through
Yes.
Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Jeez,
There you
Judy,
go.
thank you.
Yeah.
You're my hero. Well, you always were, but now you're my extra hero.
There you go. It's right there.
It
says promote on Instagram, and it will promote it on Instagram as well. So
are they owned by the same company now, or what?
Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah, I probably knew that at one time.
Yeah, they didn't buy it that long ago. I think that was a pretty recent purchase.
Makes a lot of sense that they would dance well together.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, let me show you what my plans are while I'm down here, and then we'll get into some other stuff.
Okay,
See
cool.
my business cards?
Coconuts and suntan?
Business cards.
Oh, very cool. Very nice. Turn them over. Let's see.
And I got 2 cards, you know, the nice fancy linen. I think these were ordered from 5000cards.com.
Oh, they're really cute.
Yeah, I ordered 50 of each, and I got the same backing on both. I got the studio logo. I don't know if you can see that. Yep.
Nice.
Nice and clean. My daughter designed this for me. She's like, Dad, I'm not a designer. She said, keep it really, really simple. And I did.
Yeah.
And there's no logo on here. So the idea is, and this came out last winter when I was sitting at a restaurant with my wife, and there was a family a few tables over, and I said, you see that family right there with the 2 kids? These people obviously have money. They're from somewhere in the U.S. or Canada. I would go up to them and pitch them to shoot their family portrait. I would so do that. And I told her, I said, next year when we go back, which is now, that's exactly what I'm doing. So I haven't set it up yet, but when tomorrow I'm going to set up a webpage. So the website is CostaRicaPhotographer.net, which you can see right here. Yeah. So I'm going to put a big link right here that's going to say, did you get a card from me on the beach in Tamarindo? And the idea being that they can click on it, and when I meet them in person, I give them this card. You know, I don't want to come across some creepy guy who's like, I want to sound and look legitimate, you know, and hopefully Tina's with me. I want to look like a husband and wife team, but if she's not with me, I just want to look as legitimate as possible. So I want to drive them to the website and say, look, if you want, I will give you a free photo session. I'm a professional photographer. It's a portfolio building session. My wife and I have been coming here since 2005. We're building up our business, and we need more images. You guys are perfect. You're exactly what I'm looking for. And the password is, I'm going to come up with a password like Put a Vida or something like that, which is a Costa Rica saying. So it'll be a free session, and of course, if they want more, they're going to have to buy more, and I'm going to have to sell digital files because I have no way of getting prints to them.
Right. Yeah.
There's no labs down here. So it's just one way to make extra money and one way to build my portfolio.
And you just need a slightly different business model for that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm going out. This is like when I was like 22. Like literally when I was 23, I started my first studio. I walked up and down the road. I went to the local shopping malls. I went to all the merchants. I went after the business. Nobody knew me. Well, nobody knows me down here, so I got to shake a few trees, man, make those apples fall down. So that's what it's reminiscent of, and I'm trying to sort of develop that. So I'm here for 2 months.
You should have made one for business.
For businesses,
like from that furniture shoot you did.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I mean the teak company.
Yeah.
You should have made one for that because you could have. Anytime you're out, you could have approached any business out there.
Well, I could still use these. You know, I could still use these.
Well, you can. But next time, I would have made a real nice card from one of those shoots that you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and what I think I can do is put a few samples up on the page that I told you I'm going to create.
Yep.
And have some of the commercial shoots that I actually did some commercial shoots last year. Some of them were
I remember that.
I'm trying to find one from the Dragonfly. There's the firefighters, not the firefighters, the fire guys. I don't even have these on my website. I'm so embarrassed.
We're embarrassed for you.
They're here at my Ontario website. Just let me show you what I mean.
Oh.
What was that?
Fire on the beach.
That was Diet Coke saying hello.
Was that you?
So
I thought that came from Rob's computer.
that was my pet iguana.
No, that was me.
You could have gotten away with that one, Judy. You didn't have to say anything.
I know, I can't stop laughing because I don't know where the heck that came from, to be perfectly
That sounded like when you squeezed like one of those teddy bears and the batteries were like half dead.
Oh,
Judy,
my God.
did you accidentally fart?
No. Oh, my God.
That was funny.
So
What was our topic?
What
was our topic tonight? What was our topic tonight?
It's really anything.
We had a couple.
Photography. Well, yeah, we did sort of throw a few about. Let's
I had the one topic that I suggested, which is about the
associations.
Yes, because it's a big thing right now because imaging is on.
Yeah.
And WPPI is coming in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think people want to know, are they worth it? Aren't they worth it? I mean, like.
I can say yes and no.
Exactly. Like, what are the advantages and the disadvantages?
I think everybody should go to them, and then at some point you won't.
That's it.
It's yes and no. I think everybody should do it, but there's probably going to come to a point where it's run its course.
Well,
yeah, that's why I say yes and no.
The reasons people go now are not the same as why they used to go before.
Right?
Let me tell you why.
Yeah, I'd like to know because I don't know. I'm so far out of the loop when it comes to this stuff now.
Well, let me tell you my overreaching big picture analysis take on it. I want to hear what you guys have to say, but let me just sort of explain it. There's two sides to the coin, the way I see it. We used to go to association meetings for education and camaraderie. Now, education went away because you can get anything, Creative Live, YouTube, and I want to touch on YouTube for a minute later on and discuss a few quirky things that I just want to bring up. But, the barrier to entry is like zero. Anybody can get into photography. All the education is out there, easily accessible. You used to have to work hard to getting access to other photographers because you had to belong to the association, and it wasn't easy. You had to pay your membership, and you had to often drive and go to these conventions. And I remember those days back in the 80s and 90s. I was very, very, very active in all the associations. Loved going to WPPI. So as far as getting education is concerned, that's, you can go to a convention and see a bunch of speakers, but you don't need to. I don't want to sound like I'm going to diss that because I know a lot of photographers still do it and they enjoy it. However, you don't need to because it's available.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Now the other side to the coin is the camaraderie and plus the awards and all that stuff, which I always found kind of silly. That's just me. Okay. I don't want to offend anybody, but when you get those ribbons and you got a bazillion, it's like Idi Amin, and that's a bad comparison. Let's use somebody else.
Okay.
Like you got some dude in the Russian army who's an official with the government, and he's got like 800 little things across his army jacket. And he's got all these awards. I'm like, and the medallions. I just think that's really silly. And I've got them all. And I remember I had a wall full of awards, and I never ever went to any meeting or convention with the bling around my neck because I personally find it silly. But that's just me. But there's a lot of people that they enjoy going for that reason, the camaraderie and the recognition. Look at that guy. Look at Joe. Joe's won all these awards. Right. So it's a bit of an ego boost. Makes you feel good, which is probably a good thing. It's not that
That's
bad
why I
to get recognition.
That's why I went. I went only to get the inflated head. That was it.
So your head's already inflated enough, man.
Oh my God.
That's why I went.
So, but the reasons why associations were created completely flip-flopped, and the only real, in my opinion, legitimacy that exists now is the camaraderie and the recognition and the education in that order. And the camaraderie is by far is 80%, in my opinion.
I would say.
I would say so too.
Yeah, and the recognition is 10%, and the other 10% is the is a kind of. When I went to WPPI, I never attended a single seminar. I wanted to.
I was just going to say that we went 5 years
days
ago,
of
and I've never seen one speaker.
I love that. Yeah,
I never went to.
So
one
let me say one more thing
years.
to that. Let me just say one more thing to this, and I'll let you guys chime in. I attended 2 large convention. One was a state one, and one was a provincial one. And it was sad. Last year and the year before, I was a speaker, a keynote speaker. And it was really, really sad because most of the people who attend are not what I was used to 20 years ago. They were all studio owners or legitimate photographers who are running legitimate photography businesses, for the most part, you know?
Now they're not.
No, they're not. So, and it was really kind of weird. It's just like, man, you know, where are they? The one town I was in, Winnipeg, that's almost 1 million people there. And they told me that I was asking about this particular photographer who I had met. Remember we did the Cross Canada tour, James?
Yeah.
I don't know if you and I went to Winnipeg. I think the year before I went to Winnipeg, and I met and had a tour and went out for supper with this one particular photographer, and she showed me her studio. Anyways, when I was there a couple of months ago, I asked about her, and they said that, yeah, she's still standing. She's the only bricks and mortar studio still standing. And she doesn't belong to the association anymore. So, well, who the hell is coming out to these meetings? You know, and I'm not saying you have to have a studio, because I know you guys pretty well. Judy, you kind of have a studio. It's all a natural light studio. James, you don't have a studio. Your studio is.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm getting at is
you have to have a studio anymore, but you still have to have a business.
You still have
business,
to have,
but
you still got to run a business.
But the most of the people who are in attendance don't fit in that description. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
So. You know, and I don't belong to any association.
What would you describe them as? Like just...
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
The typical, you have really nice pictures, and then one of the family friends says, can I hire you to take my kids' pictures? And the next thing you know, they make that picture into the business card, and they got a full-blown...
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a
I don't
lot
think
of
it's that.
part-timers out there.
But they have no idea what they're doing as far as business goes.
Yeah, lots of part-timers out there.
I don't know.
I mean, lots of new up-and-coming photographers. I mean, definitely, because in order to keep the industry growing, you need the new photographers.
Do you want to know something that I find very sad?
But there's just, it's like that race to be, okay, I'm a new photographer, I want to be successful, and then I want to speak and teach people and do seminars.
Right now.
Like,
exactly.
No.
You know what?
Be a photographer.
What I find sad is that in the last, like, say, 7 years, there is nothing that I have seen in the photography industry that has, like, really wowed me, blown my mind, where I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. It's just, and that's probably just me, but I haven't seen anything. I do not get excited. I don't get very excited over other people's photos. I don't get very excited over my own photos, but there's nothing out there that I sit there and say, oh my God, amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm not saying that. I'm saying that without any ego at all. I'm just saying it's like it's all been done before, and everything's just getting. I mean, Rob, you've been in the business how long now? You've seen stuff get rehashed over and over and over and over again.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for black and white with the hand coloring to come back.
I still appreciate a really well-crafted image, and I think
except people are going to do it on the screen, you know.
It won't be me.
I think in large part you're describing, perhaps a lot of it is you, because it is out there. And I just think you're maybe a little jaded. Plus, you went off into a different direction.
I'm not jaded.
You're really.
I'm not jaded.
Nothing turns you on. There's a lot of.
I see all the pictures on Facebook. Everybody's posting. There's nice work out there. What I'm saying is, maybe I'm not saying. I'm not saying that everybody. I'm not wowed by anybody. I'm wowed by people's photography. I'm just not wowed by any new concept that's come out. There's been no new concept of, we've gone through different fads and the industry changes and the styles change and all that. I just haven't been wowed with something new that's come out in the industry. I'm not talking about the photographer's work. There's amazing photographers' work. There's freaking there's photographers I'd love to be able to shoot like. but I just haven't been wowed with it. I'm waiting for that next thing to come around where it's something completely different.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be there.
When I was going through the stages of in the last 20 years, we've had different styles of photography come through and new things. I mean,
yeah, but
we
James,
had that off-camera flash, we had the digital era come around.
To be fair, it was all new to you.
Yes,
You're
but it was
going to get jaded in time. You will. It's part
like
of the
what
game.
I've noticed now is because I've been in the industry long enough, is that all of that photography that I thought was the old school stuff, that's all coming back. Okay, so
give me some examples of who.
Well, like the Montezuker.
The Montezuker stuff?
Yeah, like all that more formal photography.
I sure hope that comes back.
Well, and it's being applied a lot more, I find.
Right.
Maybe not 100%, but people are now taking more time, like wedding photographers, okay? So they're admitting that they have to provide these photos to their clients. They have to. Like they can't just not do it. So now what you've got is a little bit more of a blend is happening, right? So you'll still have the pure PJ guys, which that's a thing, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm seeing a lot more of the blended. So where you've got somebody who does really good portraits and they're blending them really nicely with photojournalism. And I have a friend who's local here, and his name's Steve Sager, and he does a really beautiful job of this. And I know because I was actually editing his weddings for him. And, he blends the two together really, really well. And those, I think, are the photographers that last.
Some would call that freestyle weddings.
Freestyle, or as
that's how Rob and I used to shoot. We'd have the very formal stuff and merged in with photojournalistic, black and white, candids. We'd have the posed portraits, the very posed Montezuker style portraits.
Well, what is it? Joe Busing used to call it portrait journalism.
Portrait journalism,
something like that, right? So it's a blend. Really nice blend of the two, right? Because you still have to do beautiful portraits.
And you're pretty well pleasing all the masses. You're pleasing the parents that want the beautiful.
The family photos are just as important. Yeah.
So
who's that?
You're talking.
That's nice up there.
Yeah, no, this is Ben Shirk.
Oh yeah.
He's doing some heavily designed, awesome stuff.
Yeah, and it's good. It's just that for me, it's more about the photo manipulation than the actual photography when you got that many different elements.
When you put something like that together.
It's beautiful. It's actually stunningly done.
His photo manipulation skills are through.
Yeah, his are unreal. They're beautiful.
So, but when you talk about classics, and you talk about people like Montezuker in that style, which I think is a really good direction to go into. I think of the Simons. And I think of...
and they're still around doing their thing, right? Still making the money.
Doing stunning work. Yeah.
Just like the Guy Martin and them. They're still doing the same. Mind you, okay, let me just say this. I hadn't looked at any of the work from Martin's studio for a long time.
Yeah.
And I know his daughter, I think,
came
into the business. And there's a change.
Oh, yeah.
There's a change in the style.
And it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous, but she's really picked up on the new style, and it's kind of running away. And even their weddings look different.
Yeah.
So there has been a change there. They're still doing their studio stuff, and they're doing it really well, but they've also blended in all the stuff they weren't doing before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I think that's pretty cool, and I say good for them, and that's why they're still going strong. Right.
I'm going to their website. I'm sure.
Yeah. What's her name? Julie? Is it no? Or is Julie the?
Joelle's the daughter.
Yeah, she does really nice work.
She does beautiful work. She's very talented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the good, the good teachers.
Yeah. Exactly right.
But it wasn't the kind of work that you like. You can tell the difference between what they were doing before and what. So
they've changed with the demographic.
Yes, exactly. And that makes for a good photographer, right? Yep. So somebody who stays in the industry and kind of molds with the industry. And I mean, I think Rob does that really well, and a lot of people do that really well, right? But that makes a big difference. But they still have their staples and the other things that they did well, and they still do that, right? So it's
this is the stuff they're really good at. Right there, you see the screen.
Yeah.
Family
their studios, their home studios, very beautiful. They in my opinion, Julie and Guy, they could do a whole DVD series just on building sets for dance.
I know, right?
Their dance shoots that they do are unbelievable, and the ideas that they come up with for the backgrounds is one and none. I haven't seen any other like that. It's amazing.
I'm going to show you their dance.
Yeah. And I mean, and now I know, and I guess because the daughter's in there, they're doing boudoir and glamour and that kind of thing, but doing it differently than they were doing it before. So, like approaching it like a boudoir photographer.
Yeah.
And I noticed a lot of the changes happening in their work. So, and I think that's wonderful. And I think it's really great to see kind of those things blend together. But, you know, I mean, I think, like anything, they've grown.
I try to do that shot there on the left with one of my clients. He can't walk right now, but
I'm sure. But go to their boudoir. See, they have the boudoir stuff down at the bottom.
I want to just say one thing in defense of them, because I don't want to give Joelle too much credit. If Joelle never entered the picture, I think that they would have been doing.
They probably would have.
Julie's always, Julie and Guy have always, you know what? They're very talented at posing and manipulating and posing. Their posing has always been they have a way of moving and showcasing the body in very.
I think it's Julie's background in dance. She really gets the body, and she's got that artistic bend to her. So.
Because they have been doing they've been doing figure studies for years.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know they've been doing that, yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of really... How old is Joelle now, their daughter? How old, you know? Is she 27, 26?
I hope she's over 18, because isn't that her on the... I can't tell. I got the screen small. I can't tell who that is in the...
I don't know if that's her.
No, Joelle's got to be, I don't know, mid-20s, early 20s.
Kind of cool to see. You don't see that often where a mom and pop studio have.
It is nice. It is nice to see that.
Yes, yeah, and that she's taking up the business.
Well, you know what? She's keeping the name in.
Yes.
I mean, Studio Martin has got a very prominent name in the Ottawa area, and she's just keeping it going on that same professionalism and quality level.
Yeah.
They worked so hard to build in the first place.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find. This is the Simons. Now these happen to be two Canadian photographers, and there's a whole bunch in the States that are doing work. This is just right up there too. I think that there's something to be said too. It's going to sound. Like
are the Simons Canadian? They're Canadian.
Yep.
They're from Montreal. He's from Italy, and she may not be from Canada. I'm not sure. I think she is. But
don't they live in Montreal?
They're out of Montreal area. Yeah, but their style, as well as Julie and Guy, are it's just very classic. There's a very strong French artistic have that thing, you know. And I always think of who's those acrobats in Las Vegas? They're from Quebec.
Oh, Cirque du Soleil.
These guys are like the Cirque du Soleil of portrait artists. Always reinventing themselves. Their work is always stellar, and they do serve a very high-end market.
Yeah.
You have to be, I believe, to do what they do, serve in a higher-end market. Do a lot of paintings like this. That, you know, they don't do just this. They do a lot of other stuff, too. Their stuff is stunning.
Well, like what they're doing is quite unique to a point. So I don't think that, you know, it's definitely not. I mean, you don't see stuff like that all the time.
If you go to WPPI, their stuff is on. Somebody's using the rear projection company uses their images in their booths, and it's absolutely stunning. I forget who it is, but this is what they do. All their stuff is lit virtually the same way.
Yeah.
That one is a bad example because...
Well, they have it down to science, right?
Most of their stuff is Rembrandt lighting. You'll notice it's a serious expression. Never big, cheesy smiles. If it's not Rembrandt lighting, it's close to Rembrandt lighting. So, anyways, we're back to the subject at hand, which was really about associations and trends and trends we're noticing. And
well, I mean,
photography.
Yeah,
these guys are still around.
I think you're right. I mean, I don't think that there's really, all three of us used to belong to PPOC, and we don't anymore. Judy? No, I don't. I haven't for years either. I still belong to WPPI.
Okay.
So I have my membership there.
Why that one? I'm just curious.
I don't know. I maintain it, and maybe because it's more international based,
so
and it's a broader scope. I get them.
Not as expensive.
No, it's not expensive, and I do sometimes. The one thing I do like is their annual digital competitions are only for members.
Cool.
Right? They have them twice a year, and I do participate in those from time to time. And then I don't participate in the big print one because it's just way too expensive to do that from here. And then the other associations I belong to are specific to my industry. So they're not big, huge organizations. It's more of a smaller, more select group. And in order to be to even get into the Association of International Boudoir Photographers, you've got to have a website. You have to have work. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I belong to that. How many members? Probably 300-400.
Worldwide.
Yes. Yeah. We've got members from all over Europe. We've got some from South America. Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
It's a pretty
can I ask
cool
you,
group.
Yeah, what's it cost to join?
$20 a month, I think.
Okay, so it's very affordable. It's all online? Do they have annual meetings and they get together and they blow the trumpets and
they have what they call a retreat, which they just had in November. And this last year, no, I didn't go because it was in New Orleans, and with the dollar right now, it's so bad. But they have that every year, and they have speakers, and everything is boudoir only.
Mm-hmm. It's very niche. It's your niche.
That's cool.
Yes, and that's what it is. And I am a member of their. So they have a group on Facebook, like a private group on Facebook, and I don't actually pay for my membership because I'm one of the people who donates my time and services.
Okay.
I do their Instagram and their Twitter feeds for them, so I take care of that, and so I don't pay for my association, but they have weekly contests, they have daily choice, so it's always constantly encouraging people to show their work and get it out there, which is important. There he goes with one of those little weird thingies again, and so I believe that it's a strong group to be in for the industry that I'm in.
Right.
If I wasn't a boudoir photographer, it'd be of no use to me.
Well, of course.
Right? But there's men and women in there. It's male and female. It's a pretty big group.
Do they ever have get-togethers?
A lot of the local photographers get together, if they're all in the same general area. Right. And I've met a couple of them, and I've actually had one of their photographers come up here. She's, I think she's in Connecticut or New England. I can't remember exactly where Beth is, but she came up, and she's also a model, and she modeled for me.
Cool.
And I did a shoot with her, and she was awesome. So, I know a lot of the people associated.
Yeah.
You get to know them really well. Made a lot of good friends.
I got to say something about associations. This is going to sound weird. But if anybody in the association called me up and say, "Hey, Rob, why don't you join? We'd love to have you as part of our group," I probably would join. But let me finish what I'm saying. I quit 5 years ago, sort of in protest, because I was like, why am I paying $600 a year?
PPO was expensive.
Yeah, and I really think WPPI is the best model going. But just let me finish my story. Why am I paying? And I went up in front of the board. They asked me to come. Remember, James, you were there. I said, we want to hear from you guys. And I said,
they asked us.
$600 a year. People are coming up to me, and I'm signing up people, and they're like newbies and whatnot, and they're like, "Oh, I should join, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you should join." And they're like, "Well, what do I get?" And I'm like, I couldn't answer that damn question, so I quit. And I think they're too expensive for what you get. And I'm really a big believer in the camaraderie and getting together to have meetings in person as like a mastermind. And plus, if you're doing that, you might as well have a workshop or a seminar or something like that. There was something else I wanted to say but I lost my thought. But if somebody, I keep thinking,
you have to pay for a convention.
Well,
you have to pay for that. And I don't mind. I'd go to them, and I'm just not that compelled to want to go to them anymore. Just
no. And isn't WPPI is not a?
It's not. It's for profit.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Because PPOC is non-profit, right?
Yeah, and PPA is non-for-profit. They're non-profit organizations, and I think that within that there is an automatic level of it's not as well run. When you have a for-profit, it's better run.
Yes, and definitely. I mean, WPPI is extremely well run.
It is very well run.
I mean, it's a corporation.
It's a must for any photographer. It's true. You have to go to WPPI at least once in your life.
At least. Yeah, for sure.
Talk about like it's true. Like Rob and I was there 5 years in a row. I actually did not watch one seminar, but I went there because, you know what?
You don't stop for a minute, even if you don't
you can get all the information you want. You can, everything on how to shoot and everything is on the internet. But the trade show was still awesome to go and play with all the new gear. You always look forward to buying new gear while you're there. You're seeing all your friends that you talk to over the internet. So, usually you see them once a year, and that's at WPPI. So the camaraderie is always there.
Yeah.
But as far as going to get photographic information and learning, it wasn't high on my priority list. Obviously it wasn't, but it was definitely it was definitely WPPI out of all of them was definitely I had the membership strictly just for the convention.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to the conventions, and it was well worth the money.
I have the membership for the magazines.
Oh, those WPPI magazines were awesome.
Yeah, well, you get Rangefinder and PDN.
I loved Rangefinder. Okay, Rangefinder was a great magazine.
You get them both.
I would be at WPPI if I wasn't stuck down here in Costa Rica. Every year I keep thinking I'm going to make it to WPPI. I try to find. No, I would go just to go. So
I like it. Well, you know what the thing with WPPI, like the actual convention, to me is like every 4 or 5 years is a good way to do it instead of like going every year or every other year, because the gap I had between the last 2 times that I went was about 4 years, and it was fantastic.
Big changes in stuff and everything, right? Yes,
but
I can see that.
What I did different the last time was I actually volunteered my services for the print competition, and I was a print handler in the print competition, and I would totally do that again. Yes, and they pay for your convention pass and all that stuff. So I would do that again.
Right.
Like in a heartbeat, I would do that again. I mean,
you meet a lot of people that way too.
Yes, and I did I worked in the portrait room. So, and that was, I was at the point where I was just really building my boudoir business, and it was a perfect time to go and do that. So
that's a good idea. You know what I would do too, similar to what you're saying, Judy, is I would say hit up a vendor like say Silver Lake or similar,
Yeah.
And say, look, you want me to I'll be at your booth. I just want you to give me a pass to the trade show.
I did that too.
And,
I was at the Boudoir album.
Just do that.
My
Meet
album
everybody.
company.
It's all about the people, man. It's
totally
all
is.
about the people.
Totally is. Yeah. I did a couple of hours for 2 days with the Boudoir album company, and really enjoyed that. And then the previous time I went was the Sharping Cart, Red Cart, when I was using them. I worked their booth for a bit. Yeah.
Cool. Are they still around?
Yeah, I think they are still around. I think their business model is different, and I don't use them anymore because I use
so many
my
changes.
studio management system has all that rolled in. So, yeah.
James, what was that slideshow we used to use 10 years ago? Like everybody was using it. I don't think
Pro Show?
Pro Show Producer?
No, before Pro Show.
Oh, PixDXE?
Oh, that's a proofing. That's proofing. That's another one.
Oh, PixDXE was also a slideshow.
Another one.
No, there was Zoom Browser, but nobody was using that.
Proofing.
What the heck was it?
It was an online. It was like Animoto, but pre-Animoto. Anyways, my whole point being that.
Show It or something?
Show It. Show Pro? No.
No, it was like Show It.
Show It or something like that.
Show It something.
My whole point is here today, gone tomorrow. There's so many changes.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys if you've heard of this company here? I just saw them on Facebook. Shoot and Sell. They have an actual Facebook group. I was checking it out, and I went and started looking into it. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to look into it. I'm going to go check out their features and whatnot.
Isn't that kind of like that other one?
Probably.
What's that other one?
Like the other one?
I can't even think of what it's called now.
The one out of Australia.
Yes, the one that's the one I'm thinking of. But
it's really, really expensive.
Now, my studio management software has this built in, has a selling feature, gallery built in to it, which is kind of cool. I don't use it because it's not how I sell, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And then it also has album proofing, which I use all the time. And it's an amazing album proofing system, and I love it, but it's all rolled into one. I pay one fee. I don't have 50 million other. Huh?
Which program?
Sprout Studio.
Okay. Cool.
And it was created by two Canadian guys, Robert Knoll and Brian Caparici.
I think you mentioned that in the last.
They're in Niagara. Yeah, okay. They're here. And Robert Knoll actually teaches at Mohawk College. And those two guys created Sprout Studio, and it is an amazing studio management software. I was with ShootQ for 7 years, and I left ShootQ and I went to Sprout Studio, and I don't regret it. It was the right choice. Because I was paying for ShootQ, and I was paying for Pixaset, and I was paying for album exposure, and I was paying this and paying that, and blah, blah, blah. So now I pay one fee. One software. So the only thing I have, the only thing that it doesn't have is my album design software is Smart Albums, and that's what I design my albums in, but I share with the clients with their album design feature, and I love that, and it's fantastic. So it's a great piece of software. The other thing I like too is the fact that they bill me in Canadian, so it's the same amount every month, right? No exchanges going on. Yeah.
So they sell their services in Canadian funds because they're a Canadian company. To
Canadians, Americans, they charge Americans. So it depends. Yeah. So, I mean, to me, that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. Well, there you go. I'm going to go check it out and see what it's all about. And I just wanted to bring this Shoot and Sell up because I see them on Facebook quite a bit, and I see people.
That's it's almost like it's was it Pro Select? There was a feature where you can, take a picture of the your wall and you can put the pictures up. That's what that Shoot and Sell is like, eh? Mm-hmm. That's such a handy software for selling. It's a great feature for selling. Here, you want to see what it looks like in your room?
I have a hunch Shoot and Sell, this app, is that and more, but I don't know exactly what. I'm going to
Right.
look into.
No, I think that's what it is. I think you can load up pictures on the wall, change them, make montages, and stuff like that, wall clusters, and
absolutely.
Very cool.
But if it's I don't know if it's probably cheaper than ProSelect.
ProSelect's
ProSelect's very expensive.
expensive, yes.
Yeah, it's very
I don't use it, but I did use that when I had my studio. It was ProSelect, but that was 4 or 5 years ago. So
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go check this out, and first place I'm gonna go is why choose shoot and sell, which is a really good marketing question.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I got a cough. I have an ant in my throat.
You have one of those little fruit things in your throat.
Hey, if you pass one of those fruit things, Rob, like down to your bottom left corner, I can probably grab it. And
you think?
I want one of those.
I know.
Bring me back smuggle some fruit.
Look at those little things. No, can't get it.
And how many do you get? Like, how much are they, and how many do you get?
It's like buying a bag of grapes.
Oh, is it? They look really good.
2 1/2. Watch. That's the inside.
Did you look it up to see, like...
it looks like a little grape or something like that,
little
right?
alien in there.
Tomato.
They probably sell that at Nations, which is like one of those grocery stores I go to that has an amazing fruit section, but they sell all the weird stuff.
$20 a pound, I'm sure.
You should go see.
Here, somebody picked that like yesterday down at the farm, 10 miles down the road.
Very cool.
Does fish guy still come around with his ice cream truck there?
Oh yeah, and they sell fish. And
that was awesome.
Whatever happened to the idea of getting a group down there and everybody coming and hanging out down there with you?
I'll go. I just want to surf every day.
Huh?
I'll go. I just want to surf every day.
Yeah, I know.
All day. That's all I want to do.
No photography stuff, right?
No photography at all.
I just want to surf. Let me ask you a couple more questions. One more sort of to do with associations, but then I got another totally different question, so we can get off to a different subject. Why I don't like Facebook, besides the fact that I love Facebook for advertising and promoting my studio and building my brand building, Facebook, Instagram, blogging. It's like doing a display, in a mall, but it's a little hit. Daily hits, boom, boom, boom. You're doing brand building, but for promotions, Facebook's pretty awesome. And here's what I hate about Facebook: if you post I stay away from deep topics, religion, politics. Sometimes I want to, but I bite my tongue and I shut up because I ain't going there. I slipped a couple times, but nothing major. But I see people posting shit that's either political, religious, or similar. Or that's just a really hot topic, or there could be just something in general, even in a photography Facebook group, to do with just a generic topic, like selling or what camera do you use or what's the best lens, and it segues into a series of ongoing opinions and comments over and over and over and over, and it gets lost. So and everybody wants to get their voice to count. I got mine, and that just sort of drives me batty. And because it's open, Facebook's open to the world, basically. Other than the groups, you have to be accepted to them. A paid group would be different. Because you're paying to belong, so it's going to take a different flavor, just like WPPI takes a different flavor than not-for-profit associations. They're leaner, meaner, more efficient. You just seem to get away more from opinions and fighting. Although that's no guarantee, because as you know, James, in a forum, it's the same thing as a forum.
Sure.
Yep. People get into infighting and bickering all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what drives me nuts. So a forum and Facebook is very much the same thing. Facebook to me is the new forums.
More or less.
Oh yeah.
With way more. You post a question. And you discuss shit. I mean, that's a forum, right? That's what Facebook is.
It is, but it gets lost really fast in Facebook, which drives me nuts.
Well, that's the point. And it just waters down.
Yeah.
So.
So the association I belong to, AIBP, you actually can't join their Facebook group unless you're a paid member.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's paid, so it's going to take on a different
It does.
flavor.
The tone is completely different.
It's immediately different.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like a safe haven. I have belonged to other boudoir groups that are more open boudoir and have left them all.
Yeah.
Because it's like just a bunch of shit goes on there.
You know, when it's free, it has no value.
It has no value. Exactly.
You can turn it into...
And every idiot on the planet can join the damn group.
Exactly.
Yeah. They just want numbers.
Yeah.
So that's what I hate. You're hitting the nail right on the head. That's why I hate Facebook. So.
Yeah. And so, I mean, and just as an example, recently there was a girl who posted in our group, our AIBP group, about some idiot guy who basically called her useless and all kinds of other things because she wants to make money as a photographer.
Are you serious?
Yes. It's like, seriously? Well, aren't you in the industry to make money? Because if you're not, then you're not a photographer, okay? Because you can't, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, you're doing it for different reasons, but don't diss.
And she's showing a screenshot of what this guy said, and it's like, okay, he's an idiot. Because it's like either you're there to make money or you're not. And if you're not, then you're not a professional because you're not making your living.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. And I felt really bad, but that's what you get in those open groups.
Yeah. That
right?
Yeah, it's crazy. So let me talk about YouTube quick. I just want to bring up one point, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. So I flew to Costa Rica yesterday, and I always load my mobile tablet with movies. And this year I decided I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to YouTube. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
I've got all, in this Dropbox. I use everything's on Dropbox. I have a whole section called podcasts, and I have like Tony Robbins and Tim Ferriss, and I got some Photoshop tutorials and Perry Marshall, blah 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 blah. So in the Photoshop, there we go. I put a bunch of Photoshop tutorials. I ripped them. You can rip YouTube videos really easy, and I put them all in there. I did put one documentary on Nash, the famous mathematician, the Nash equilibrium dude. They did a movie called A Brilliant Mind. Was that it? It was really good. So I watched one documentary, but I watched a whole series of how-to videos. And I just thought, you know what? I want to ramp up my Photoshop skills.
Great way to learn.
I've bought Photoshop videos. I'm not saying, the only way to go is to get free ones. I just want to poke a little bit of fun at some of the YouTube videos in a minute. But I also want to make the point that, I'm constantly trying to educate myself, and I think that educating myself in Photoshop is really, really important these days.
Yeah.
Because I want to hone those skills even better. I don't consider myself a good Photoshop artist. And I know I got a lot of room for improvement. I'm pretty good, but, and I really noticed the last couple of years because I've spent a lot more time working on the computer, I probably should push it even more to a higher level of mastery because there's just so many cool things that can be done with certain looks. So when you look at a really nicely crafted image, a nicely crafted portrait that's really well done, and then you really work it up nicely in Photoshop, man, you get this epic piece of art that who knows where it's going to go. So that's what I'm thinking. So I download a bunch of videos. Frequency separation is very, very popular. Full high-end beauty retouching. History of the occult. Oh, that was another documentary which I've never watched yet. Color grading tutorial, retouching skin, blah, blah, blah. So I watched a whole bunch of them, and I like the 10, 15-minute ones. And most videos I find, even the hour-long ones, they could be done in 15 minutes. Because you start it, and they ramble on, I'm going to talk, and I'm going to show you this, and they get it sidetracked and talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. And a lot of the content is recycled. It is.
Sure.
You'll notice a lot of photographers who are borrowing stuff where they picked up from Creative Live or some other big site.
Yeah.
And sort of picked it up, got good at it.
Or picked it up from the experts, and then they're recycling it to
You can tell. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with that.
No, just passing along the knowledge, right?
Their videos are kind of like a little sketchy because of that, but you got to look beyond that and get to the core of what they're saying. So some of them are really good. You could tell the guys or the girls who are just like really, bam, they've been doing it a while and they've got it. And then there's the other ones, because they always get distracted and sidetracked, and they want to show you all this other stuff, but they really don't know what they're talking about. They go down these rabbit holes. It's really kind of
yeah. Or they do.
They go, I'm not going to go there now, and they come back and they get back on track because they really only know the one technique. It's kind of funny, and it's a legitimate good technique. So it's kind of funny. So you get it because it's YouTube. Everything's free, right? It's all out there.
Yeah.
Pick and choose and find.
I've learned a lot off YouTube, though. Tons.
Yeah, it's
especially
amazing.
When it comes to retouching. Yeah.
So I got all these notes in my book that I brought on the plane with me because I'm watching these videos, and there was one dude, I think he was from Brazil or something like that. I did a whole page and a half of step by step because I'm going to go apply it. It's really, really cool. I don't know if you guys are into that frequency separation, but it's really, really cool.
That's all I use.
Yeah, it softens the skin, it gets rid of the blemishes, but maintains the texture, right?
Yes, I use frequency separation for all my retouching, for everything I do. Yeah.
That's cool stuff.
Yeah.
What about James? Do you use it for your commercial industrial mining?
There's no chance in hell I'd retouch do any softening to any of my subjects.
You don't have to.
He's in a different universe.
Yeah. Frequency separation and burning and dodging, those are kind of like your key tools to getting really nice skin. But if you talk to the high-end fashion photographers, they don't use frequency separation. They do it all with burning and dodging. It's absolutely incredible to watch them and what they do with burning and dodging.
Now, you'll notice this one here, photo retouching, skin with burning. I think that's probably what this person was going on about.
Probably. It is high-end fashion retouching because they try to avoid frequency separation because frequency separation still manipulates the pixels.
Yeah.
Okay? So it still blends them. I use it because I'm doing boudoir retouching, which is different than high-end fashion retouching. Okay. When I do my creative high-end fashion stuff, I don't use frequency separation on the skin. I just use burning and dodging. So it's very like you're talking, it's minute, like very intricate work that you do. But when I do my regular stuff, like if you go to that one ring in the red, you can't really tell with that image, but that image was done with burning and dodging, not with frequency separation. So it's a little bit different. When you see it large, all the texture is there. Frequency separation still blends the texture of the skin to a point.
Yeah.
You're still losing some texture.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And there's people like Maggie, Maggie.
Yeah, she does like crazy.
She just brushes.
Yeah.
She brushes, so she's killing the texture. Yeah,
basically you do. And the more you brush it, like the more you use, because frequency separation, you do the frequency sep, you take the color layer, and you're working with your healing tool, and you're healing. Okay, it does blend, but it still leaves some texture in there. You can also bring the percentage down on the color layer, and some of the texture will even come back, and you'll still have. So sometimes what I'll do on a really difficult subject is I'll do the frequency separation, and I'll run it once, and then I'll run it a second time if I need to rework another area.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, but it looks really natural. And that's what I'm going for. I'm going for more of a natural look, right?
The one guy who did the one YouTube video who I was really impressed by, he did not use the healing. He used something else. I'm pretty sure it was.
Probably used the brush tool.
Yeah, and it was really, really cool. No, he used a selection tool. Okay, let me show you Maggie. Here's Maggie's work. Where this is a good example. She does this to all her stuff to some degree or other. See this picture here?
Yeah.
See how that's all been brushed in. So technically there's an entire new skin being added.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's how she does her stuff, and she does very, very well at it. So there's different ways to skin a cat, right?
Actually, there is. There's 7.
The what?
There's 7 ways to skin a cat?
There's actually 7 ways.
I never counted.
Oh my God.
James has tried. James, where'd your hat go? Your hat's gone.
It was bugging my hair, actually. My hair hurts.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
I think it was too tight with these things on.
Like I even go so far as to add almost a high pass layer on top after I've done it, because it actually pulls all the detail back out again. So, because for me, people need to look real. All right? I'm not creating, this is like fine art, magic, like a painted portrait almost. I'm not creating that kind of work.
Yeah, this is
my
different.
work is for the real person. Exactly.
This is not frequency separation stuff. My point, the reason I brought this up was to show that there's virtually extremes in how people and photographers are getting their work done.
Yeah.
But I want to send you, Judy, I want to send you the link to that YouTube video, and I'll,
Yeah, for sure.
I would love your opinion on it. I would really love your opinion, because he uses...
Well, and there's a couple of guys that I'll send you their names, and you can look up their YouTube channels, and they're well worth watching.
I want to learn this stuff more, so that I can pick and choose the best techniques. Right now I'm using a mix of old school techniques, softening, and what I learned from Maggie, because I've run a whole bunch of webinars with Maggie that are in this form.
All right. Well, one of the guys that I follow a lot, and who is actually part of Retouch Academy, he's from Toronto, and he's a fashion photographer in Toronto. And his retouching skills are wow.
Through the roof?
What's his name is Michael Wolanishki, or I don't know, I don't know his last name, but what the hell is his company now? I can't even remember. But really, I love his retouching is like, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Always looking to expand, always looking to...
always learn something new, right, James?
Always learn something new. You should progress your knowledge at least once a year.
I agree. That's it. Always try something different once a year, too, right?
In your world, James, where you're not dealing with, I think it might be a little bit unique because it's more black and white per se. It's more structured, or it's commercial, right? It's industrial. You've got equipment. You're going out into these scenes, into these environments, and you're photographing something that's entirely different than I would say.
Something that has no life.
And you got to give it life, right?
That's exactly it.
Meaning to somebody, right?
Oh, it does.
I mean, I think what you do is probably...
I still retouch all my images. It's not like I just run a few actions like, there you go. I still go into every single image and pick it apart and do my dodging and burning, and if I have to clone something out or,
because you have to, because it's a commercial.
Yeah, I gotta dodge and burn wheels. I gotta bring out the highlights in certain areas.
Are you using frequency separation?
He doesn't have to do that.
Only if the paint job has blemishes on it and it needs a little softening. It all depends.
But I'm assuming that a lot of what you do really depends heavily on how you've lit it.
Oh, yes, it does.
Right?
Yes and no.
To a point, right?
It depends on how I light it, the angle, and the background.
Right.
There's a key role in it.
Would you go in and say...
Because I try to use whatever lighting is in there already.
Yeah.
To make it look more
All
natural.
I try to do is I try to mimic the exact same direction and quality light, just intensify it.
Right.
So that I can actually capture it.
Yeah.
Because it's most of the places I shoot in either have no lighting or it's just lighting off of the vehicles. So I still try to keep the direction going the same way that it would be. if I wasn't.
But you're essentially, you have a product to sell just like we do.
Yep.
And that's what you have to emphasize.
That's right.
Right?
So this image, did you add those starburst filter?
I added them, but they were there. I just needed them bigger.
So you just enhanced them.
Yeah. Well, I copied the what you call wetting the starlight or whatever, and then I just increased the brush size and plopped it on there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No one's the wiser. That's cool.
No.
You got some backlighting going on here.
No, that's the sun coming up. That was sunrise.
It's nice, man. There's a beam. There's a radiant beam going through a shaft of light.
So for this shot here, I'm assuming you've used additional lighting on that.
I have. Let me see. I just shot that a little while ago. I have 2 lights.
Did you have to remove them from the shot?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good.
Looks like a tight area.
Yeah.
That was because that's a full-size grader, so it was very tight.
Yeah.
And he stopped for you.
She stopped for me.
Ah.
Yep.
She had to stop for you. I just assumed it was a dude because, it's such a traditional male-dominated industry.
I did a really nice portrait of her in front of it, actually. I should post that soon.
Yeah. Is it boudoir?
No. No, you have to have all proper PPE when you're underground.
I guess so, right?
You get down to your skivvies, you get fired. You get down to your skivvies, you get fired.
Mining boudoir. Now, there's a niche.
Yeah, just lean up against
one photographer in the whole world.
Yeah, lean up against that rock.
You guys are too funny. It's very cool. I mean, I would think that whenever you're going down into these areas, you definitely have your where you're working is tight, right? In most cases.
Oh yeah, I wish you wish you had more space. Like I try to get the lights just out of frame, and I mean it's very.
And like do you have to work with a pretty wide angle lens?
I have a 17-40. I try not to shoot too wide because I don't want any distortion in the sides or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you've got to catch that distance on it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
pretty cool. I couldn't do stuff like that.
I love it. Nobody bitches
I
at
wouldn't
me.
know what the hell I was doing.
Too loud. It's too dirty. It's too noisy.
Yeah, not for me.
It's too cold.
Yeah, that too.
What was that one question? The other question that was going right off the other side there you wanted to talk to us about, Rob?
This is it. Last question, and then we'll wind her down. So somebody was asking, in a sense, I'm paraphrasing. They were getting all discouraged. So what do you do when there's so much competition out there and everyone is selling their photography for peanuts? It's discouraging. They're ready to pack it in. So my thought immediately was, well, don't focus on those people who are selling their stuff for peanuts. You really got to push to create a brand that people want, and you have to really push your brand hard, and you have to get out there and go shake the apple trees so that some will fall down into your lap, and you'll have your fair share. But you got to work at it. But more importantly, just to back up to what I initially said, you have to really get your mind off all the competition, quote unquote. And I mean, Judy, if you were spending all your days worried about everybody else's shooting, either glamour, boudoir, or anything similar, I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
I
don't know if James has got the same challenge, but I know James has got something to say about this for sure. But
I do. I definitely got something to say about this.
But my thing is, don't focus on them. Have your own goals and push your own work. Get out there, start making offers. Get out there, start looking for clients. If you're constantly getting no, they're not failures. They're lessons. And you got to keep working at it to figure out what is it you're doing wrong. It's hard. It's hard to be in business, and this is what it's all about. It's really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'll go first, okay? So the one thing about this is there are always going to be photographers selling for peanuts. Always.
Never going to go away.
I mean, if you think back to the DWF days, back when we used to be on the forum there and they were talking, back then they were complaining about that. Everybody, the industry's going to die because there's so many newbies, and it just goes on and on and on. This never goes away, okay? So if you want to be part of the industry, you have to make your mark in the industry. And the only way to do it is to work hard and just keep at it. I mean, you got to forget about those, because at one point, you were one of those guys. Right? I mean, everybody started at that point, but there's a point where you stop being at that point, and then that's when then everybody starts complaining about it. But it's like, it's a vicious circle. Forget it. Forget they exist. I mean, like, I don't even I had somebody ask me, oh, well, who's your competition in the industry?
You have no idea, right?
I don't know. Exactly. I have no idea. Honest to God,
I believe it too.
I know one guy who shoots boudoir in Toronto, and I know him because he belongs to the Association of International Boudoir Photographers, and that's the only reason I know him.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention. Now, I do have my friends in the industry, but they're all American photographers. They're not people that I compete with or anything. We bounce ideas off each other and that kind of thing. You kind of need that.
Let me ask you a question, Judy, on that. All these friends of yours are all legitimate photographers making money? Making
money. They have studios. They're running successful businesses.
There you go.
None of them are those peanut guys because they've all worked from that to where they are now.
You're hanging out with the right people.
Exactly. And they're working their asses off.
You can make it go. Okay, well, how come you're making it and they're making it?
Well, because you're working at making it.
Yeah.
Every day. And you can't stop. But you can't think about I mean, like I said, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know how many boudoir photographers there might be in Hamilton or Toronto. I have no idea.
Don't count.
None.
Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Exactly. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing is for my clients and for the people that come to me.
That's right.
So it's of no consequence what everybody else is doing. So forget it. Bye-bye.
But Judy, you're so selfish, though. I mean, come on.
Oh my God! No, but because that thing, that question, how many times do you hear it from photographers? How many times?
I used to be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I used to always go see what the competition's doing, and then there's one time where I just.
What the hell are you doing?
I cut them like cold turkey. I was like, that's it. I don't care anymore. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make it, like, I call it, my wife and I call it wasted emotion.
It totally is.
And looking at what other people are doing, because it has no real impact on your business, because they have no idea what your business is doing, who your clients are.
No.
Even if it is like a direct competition, it's somebody in your city, does the exact same stuff as you, it really doesn't matter. It's what you do with your business.
Yeah.
And, the one thing you can do, there's, what was put the first slide back up again, Rob, with your question. I like this idea. I think this is what we should do for our future ones, is just come up with questions and put them on a blank white thing like that, and just keep it up like that. And then, honestly, this will keep us on track.
Do you find we're scattered?
We do.
Well, sometimes, but I actually really do like this. Let's come up with some ideas, type it out onto the pad here, and next question, and then we just talk about it, because I think this is. I think we could cover a lot.
But you've got to stop being discouraged by this.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're finding that it's discouraging you, then like James said, you've got to stop.
Yeah.
Stop looking. Stop paying attention.
The one thing that you have to do, if you have all sorts of competition in your immediate area and they are selling for peanuts, Judy, you hit the nail on the head there when you said it's always going to be there, because there's always going to be new photographers, and we were all photographers like that. But you need to actually ask yourself the question of why, like Rob stated earlier, it was the first thing he went to when he went to that shoot and sell website. Why should you come to use my photography?
Right.
And you need to answer that. You have to answer that question
Yeah.
And then you have to prove it to your clients.
Yeah.
This is why you should come to me, because I do this
I'm
and this.
actually going to put that on my website.
This is why you should do that.
Why should you come and see me? And this is why you should.
If you can't come up with a reason why they should come to you and not the other people, well, then you need some serious changes to your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or stop complaining about it because you're not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is, okay, so you got all these photographers and they're all selling peanuts, but what aren't they selling?
Yeah.
Because there's got to be something they're not doing.
I think truth, it doesn't even, photography, in my opinion, especially when it comes to the baby portrait family boudoir stuff, or actually I should just say in period, mine too, it's not just about the photography. It's about the experience you give your clients while you're photographing them.
Yeah.
It's a big part of it.
You can go light years above other people with your personality and what you bring to the table with your professionalism and how comfortable you make them feel. And I mean, it all comes down to, is your business better? It's not about is your photography better. It is your business better? Do you run your business better than your competition? Do you put more work into your business than your competition? Do you work on your business every day?
Right.
Compared to your competition?
And that answers the question that you asked a minute ago.
Why should you come to us?
What are they not doing?
What are they not doing? Yeah.
By the way, we're talking about a USP, unique selling proposition, which I hate that term, but it's true. I mean, what is it that
I'm
makes
glad you spelled that out because I'm thinking we're talking about a USP.
Yeah.
USP, it's a classic marketing term, unique selling proposition.
Yeah.
Some people call it an elevator pitch. Well, I can't stand that. You should really work at the experience, what makes your work unique, your promotions, your networking, your brand, all that stuff ties in together. And to back it up just a little bit, you got to really have a personal goal and business goal, a set of goals. You got to really have an idea where you want to go. It's not about, I'm going to start a business. Let's go look what the competition does, and I'm going to base my vision on that.
And a lot of people do that.
Wasted emotion. Well, it's amateurs, man. It's amateur, and I don't mean to offend
Did you ever
anybody.
do that? Because I've never done that.
What's that?
Kindergarten stuff. I
did not look at what my competition does and then based all my prices on them and everything off of. I never did
prices, but you base your vision. This is I got to see what everyone else is doing because it's a
you can lose track of yourself in that way too.
Best thing you can do in that situation is go the complete opposite way than what everybody else is doing.
Well, okay, so
really?
I'm going to relay a little story. Okay, so you remember back in the DWF days. Okay, and I get on there, and I'm just at the point where I'm transitioning from film to digital, and I see all these photographers like the Yervants of the world and blah, and I totally lost my train of thought. Like I lost my direction in my business. Yes, I went for about 2-3 years, and I felt like I was floundering.
You lost your mojo.
I did.
Yeah, lost the mojo.
I was messed up because it was like I was thinking, I want to be like him, and I want to be like him, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me, like, friggin' forget this shit. Okay?
It was like sensory overload. It was like sensory overload, seeing all these other.
It was too much.
All different styles, doing some really kick-ass stuff, and it was like, I can see that too, because
totally lost it.
Yeah.
For a few years, I felt totally off track, and I felt like my business was not going anywhere.
You know what, Judy? I think that's probably what I was going through too when I was getting very disgruntled in photography, and I wasn't happy with it.
Was.
But I did find it again. This isn't where I switched over to the mining. I did find it again and fell in love with it again. But I think that's what it do, because honest truth, before the digital wedding forum and all the other forums that came out there and internet, really the only other photography you saw was when you went to your conventions and you saw what your other colleagues were doing. But you never actually got world vision of what photographers were doing around the world.
Definitely overload.
Yeah.
When I got into digital wedding forum, I couldn't get over the talent. You know how small you feel when you go into that?
Very small.
And you're like, holy crap, these people are doing this?
It's overwhelming. It's actually overwhelming when you go into something like that.
I think you guys are hitting the nail right on the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once you kind of find your own, your own either niche or your own style.
How do you find your own? There's the big question. That's a good question.
You know, I don't know.
There.
Yeah,
I think you try to emulate on a style that you like.
It just sort of,
and then you make it your own somehow. I mean, honest truth, you can't tell somebody how to do that. They got to find it themselves, because that's the whole point of coming up with your style.
Yeah.
Just find out the look that you want.
But Judy's got a legit story, and I think you touched on it already, because you had to find it, because you had to get out of that 2-year slump, that self-imposed sensory overload,
so
self-esteem.
I did a full
slump.
restructure of my business. I changed my business. I stopped looking at what everybody else was doing, and I thought, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Right? How do I want to describe what I'm going to give to the client? What experience are they going to get from me? To hell with what everybody else is doing. So I completely stopped looking at everybody in the industry that was local. I mean, and to be honest, now I'm getting back into weddings, and about the only wedding photographer I ever exposed myself to is my friend Steve, because I edit his work.
Right.
Okay?
So you don't care what the rest are doing.
Don't give a shit.
Because you know where you want to go. Okay,
and
that's
you're not
powerful.
my client.
I mean, okay, well, let's ask, Rob, if you were to get back, well, you still do it all. Like, if I was to get back into weddings and stuff like that, I wouldn't even go look at anybody's work. I'd
Never.
just go come up with,
thing.
continue on with what I was doing. And
I would look at your Vant and Joe Busink.
I wouldn't. I would just want to do my own thing and let it evolve from there without input.
I went to the seminar they had this past summer. Remember, Rob? And it was.
We talked about that.
But that whole seminar, I did not go to look at their work. It was an inspirational, everything they were talking about when I heard Joe talk and when your Vant was talking, and so it was all about the feeling of doing what they do and why they do it.
Mm-hmm. Right. That was cool.
That touches me more than actually looking at their work.
That's cool.
Okay? And I don't care what he's charging or what this person is charging, because that's not why I'm there.
Exactly.
Okay? I'm there for the emotional inspiration, not the visual inspiration. There's a difference between the two. I
never understood because you get it all the time. I still get it. I got this question asked to me like 2 months ago. It's like, well, I looked at what other people were charging, and that's what I'm going to charge too. And it's like, why would you ever charge what everybody else? Why wouldn't you just come up with, what are you happy with?
Mm-hmm.
Because I get that. What should I charge for this? What should I charge for that? I was like, well, what do you want to make? For what I would want and what you want and what he, she, and he wants.
There's a magic formula out there. That's why they're asking you.
You know?
Yeah. Look, I've had some assistance from.
Just talk to your spouse, find out what they want, and that's what you charge.
Like I've had some help from a photographer that's in New York, and she's really, really high end, and she actually has a marketing branding background. Okay.
Right.
That was what she did before she became a photographer. And her and I sat down, and I said to her, okay, this is what I'd like to offer. This is what I want to offer my clients. This is how I want to do. Can you help me kind of figure out how to structure all of this so that it logically makes sense to my clients? And she did. She walked me through it all, but she didn't tell me what to charge.
Right. Of course. She did.
I decided what I was going to charge. Okay? So she's not telling me that. What she's doing is she's giving me the guideline to build that pricing. But that pricing point has to be my choice.
Right.
Okay?
But
and
you're
that's
not going to decide it.
Exactly. It's like the same thing as, I had a web designer. She designed my website, and she designed all my print brochures and all that. She didn't write any of the content that went in it. I did.
Yeah.
Okay? But she designed what it looks like and how it presents to the client. So there's, the voice of what's being said, and that's my voice. And that's what these photographers have to do, is they have to get their voice out.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? And not just their work. It has to encompass everything.
How do they do that, Judy? What's the missing link, or what are the characteristics needed?
And that is something that is undefinable.
But it's scary, though, right?
It is scary, and I mean, I actually think it's probably more difficult for people who have maybe never you know, been in business before, or because you know, and James knows that this is not just about taking pictures.
That's
right?
the easy part.
Like there's so many aspects to running the business and running it successfully that if you don't take all those things into consideration and put it all together and piece it together, it's just going to fall flat. And that's what these photographers that are going out there and selling for peanuts, they're just selling it to sell it. Mm-hmm. They're not thinking about
we press one button to take the image.
Yeah.
We press 8,462 buttons to make a profit.
Right. There you go. Good. So you have to consider. It's interesting because I know I did a presentation to a bunch of PPO guys. This was like a few years back. And I said in the presentation, my main goal, because I'm single, I don't have a husband, my income is 100% pays my bills. Right. So my main goal is to make sure my bills are paid. Okay? Yeah. Well, they took it, because one guy came back to me, I think a year later, and he said, he's like, you don't want to make any money, and blah. I said, I never said I didn't want to make any money. Yeah. I said, my main goal is to make sure my bills are paid. So I know what my minimum amount is that I have to earn to pay my bills. That doesn't mean I don't want more. And you're the idiot who interpreted it that way. Yeah. Because that's not what I was saying. But what I'm trying to get across to people is, okay, so you have to understand the business side of it. How much do you need to make money and to earn a living doing this?
It's a business.
Exactly. It's a business. So, it's not just about taking pretty pictures.
I think you mentioned something a second ago, Judy, where you said that it's harder for people who have never been in business. And if you've never been in business, well, it's a learning. It's one of the.
There is a learning curve. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just skill. You have no choice. You got to learn how to get out there and. You have to be confident, and or if you don't have confidence, you have to acquire confidence. Yeah. And it's hard. It's hard. It's like anything. It's like, James, you go into jiu-jitsu and getting better at jiu-jitsu. You got to get on the ground.
It's a skill.
You got to do it. You got to continue on doing it and working at it. And the funny thing is, and especially in jiu-jitsu, you all start out the same, doing the same thing, learning the same moves.
Right.
But then after a few years, you kind of come into your own style.
Yeah.
Everybody's jiu-jitsu is different. Somebody's better at something, and it all depends on that individual's body type, how athletic they are, how non-athletic they are. And that's the same thing with photography. You learn the basic skills, and I've got some jiu-jitsu guys that I like to emulate because their style is kind of the same to mine, but then you find your own and you move on. It's the same thing with photography. You find somebody or a style that you like, but you make it your own.
Yeah,
but you're struggling to get there. You got to put.
You're always struggling to get there, and the ones who succeed are the ones that push it in and out all day long, right?
Have you ever been scared?
What's that?
Have you ever been scared?
Scared for what?
When you went to a jiu-jitsu, when you went grappling.
I was going to kick the crap out of you.
Have you ever challenged yourself? Oh, I'm a little nervous.
Challenge yourself every time you go to class. You always roll with the higher belts.
Yeah,
you're never scared. And I don't say I've never been scared like, I'm badass. I've never been scared. I've never been scared because it's one of the most safest martial arts out there where you can go 100% and feel completely safe because, we're all training partners. We don't want to hurt each other, but you always
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that inner fear,
Oh, that inner fear.
Mind shit stuff that says,
That's more inner doubt than it is fear, is it not?
Oh no, even in jiu-jitsu, you go through stuff like that, and the whole thing is you push for, like we call it plateaus. Plateaus is in jiu-jitsu is where
you're pushing to get there, right?
Yeah.
You push to get there, but you got to push through it, and then when you get through it, it's a learning lesson, like you were saying, Rob. In business, you got to go through it. You make mistakes, and you got to learn from them. And it's always, 20 years in, I'm still learning about business. And it's the same thing with anything. The trick is like you're always going to have those ups and downs, no matter what you do. It's how you take those losses and learn from it, just to make you go farther.
And keep moving.
So that's what business is.
Judy, you went through it 2 years. You lost your mojo and you got it back. And
lost your mojo. That's a good blog post, Rob. Losing your photo mojo.
Losing your mojo. Photo mojo. Yeah.
Have you lost your photo mojo? What happens when you lose your photo mojo? I feel like
that was around 2004, 2005, like in around then. And, I mean, it took me, the clients never knew. They didn't know the difference. But I knew the difference, right? And so...
Now, did you find you lost your mojo in the skills you had as a photographer, or was the passion you had for photography?
Kind of both.
Kind of both, eh?
A little bit both, yeah. And the direction my wedding business was going, and what I was doing, was I doing what I was doing because I loved to do it, or was I doing it because I thought I had to do it that way, or whatever? And then creatively it was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And that's it. So I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And so after that, it's like I left the DWF. I never went back. I joined another small group that was just a bunch of photographers, more PJ style, but just a bunch of photographers. And then once that group folded, it was like, yeah, whatever. You know, but never, I don't even have any idea what wedding photographers in Toronto are doing right now. I have no idea.
Neither do I.
Exactly. But I'm getting back into it. So, you know, I'm second shooting a few weddings this year, and I'm shooting a few on my own. And I've got another photographer who has asked me if he can hire me out for weddings. I'm like, yeah, sure. If you want to, I'm fine with that. But I shoot it my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have my way.
It's all about staying true to yourself, I guess. Is a big part of what this is all about.
And you have to do it. But you have to.
It's like a journey.
But you go through a bunch of stuff. But it's like the whole selling photography for peanuts. I don't even care.
Yeah.
Don't care. You just don't care.
Wasted emotion.
Totally
wasted
is.
Emotion. It's renting space in your head.
Come on, like you can't tell me that there isn't somebody out there. Actually, there probably is somebody who has a Groupon that's selling boudoir photography for $30.
There's a lot of kick-ass photographers in our area here in Sudbury that are selling it for complete peanuts.
Exactly,
and it's like, good, and it's really good work, like beautiful work, and it's like.
Well, it's their choice, right? Yeah. There was a girl in Toronto, and it was probably, I would say, about 4 years ago. Probably 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, and she ran a Groupon, and it was for $29, and with hair and makeup included. Okay.
Wow.
And files included. Yeah. Okay. She sold over 300. Of them, and she's no longer in business.
Well, yeah. How do you stay in business when you're putting that much time into doing your sessions and not making money? I mean,
she burnt out.
That's just simple math.
Yeah, it killed her, and she couldn't do it because she was doing and I'm like, well, who's paying the makeup artist? Well, I guess the makeup artist backed out on her. Like she ran into more problems because you can't do it that way. Like, I mean, I ran living socials and that sort of thing when I was starting the boudoir and I first moved to Hamilton, but never cheaper than $99. And it was just a shoot with a file, no hair and makeup, nothing. So
yeah, but Judy, everyone else was selling them for less.
So yeah, but you know what? I did like 150 my first year.
And you didn't care what the rest were selling in that.
I didn't care.
Yeah, push for their agenda.
Yeah. And you think I didn't sell?
But they cared what she was selling.
What's that?
I said, but they cared what she was doing because they probably, you know what I mean? Like.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where you want to be.
They made the mistakes, and that's their mistake. I mean, I still run my business where I have an offer that goes out every month.
Yeah.
That's different than the last one. And it's like, you buy it, you get it, and so I'm constantly offering something different, and those are the offers, and that's how I run my business. But that gets them in the door, and then I sell more to them. So that's how I do my business. But that doesn't mean that everybody else should be doing it that way.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
This is good. This is good. Well, I'm glad we, we could have actually.
It's a good question to end on.
Yeah, it's really good. This is, I think, where the meat and potatoes of it.
Yeah.
Are, so
basically, you can just cut out the first hour of our webinar.
We're just blabbing on.
Well, no, the first hour was good too because we talked about the associations. But this was really good because this is something that you hear a lot, and you hear a lot of photographers talk about it.
I'm sure we pissed off a few people regarding opinions of associations. But James, I got to take your advice.
We never actually talked about it. Again, when I was saying that, yes and no, I think everybody should join it. I think if you're starting out in photography, you should definitely join your local association and then your state or provincial, because you do network on Facebook and all that, but there is something to be said. Rob, you remember when we used to do our No BS Infernos? When was the best time that we had where we learned the most and talked the most business and really gleamed off the other photographers? Breakfast, lunch, and supper.
Always.
And then in the bars later at night, right? What's that?
You know what I love the most about those Infernos?
What's that?
The shootouts.
Oh, the shootouts, yeah.
Those are fun too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can talk to your other colleagues over Facebook, but there's something about that face to face and being in that group.
Totally different.
And you will learn the networking and all that. So I think you should join an association. I love my associations, the PPOC, PPO. I love WPA. I met a lot of friends that I still have now. All my photography friends are all from like our No BS and PPO and PPOC. I love the conventions. I love the hospitality street. I honestly love getting drunk with everybody because that's where you really know what the other person is really like, and you met some fabulous people. But then there came to a point in the career where, I wasn't getting anything out of it, so I dropped out. I'm not too negative about it. I'm just saying I got what I wanted. I paid you. You got what you wanted. Yeah. I got what I wanted. It was, we just severed ties. And would I ever get back into another one? You know what? I would literally I would love to go back to a PPOC strictly to just see the people.
Yeah.
Well, I went last year as I sponsored a trade show thing. It was like $300.
Okay.
Because I just wanted to go to the trade show.
We're losing Rob.
But it was in Niagara Falls.
I think there are curfew powers going on in Costa Rica. Don't they shut it off at 11 or like that? All powers off.
My hair?
Yeah, you're still there. You're
there.
You blacked out a bit there. Now your audio.
What I was saying was I went to the national convention as a sponsor trade, just so I can meet people.
Yeah.
So to get back on that topic, I think everybody should do it. Get what you need out of it, and then know when to get out.
Go from there. Maybe stay, maybe not stay, whatever.
Yeah, it's all in how you grow, right?
But I don't. Again, and everybody.
Well, you don't knock them.
No, right? I don't knock them. I don't knock them. They're just not for me. They're not for me now. They were definitely for me back then. I loved them. I mean.
Yeah.
2001 was my first one.
Let's do it again next month.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna come up with more. You're gonna come up with more.
I'm gonna do this format.
I like it. Yeah, I do. I like it. I thought it was like, boom, there it is, and then when people are watching the video, boom, it's there. They know what question we're talking about. So.
I used to do a lot of coaching, and I'd have these small groups, and this is how I used to put all my content was in WordPad, just a basic text format.
Yeah.
And I would just write everything out, and I'd go through everything. I always thought it was kind of dinky and kind of stupid.
Well, yeah, but it makes people think about it because it's right there in front of their face.
Yeah.
And
so I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
And I also think that it's nice if we stick to like just two basic topics. Right?
We talked for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We did. We did.
Like
almost
two good basic topics, and
I think 2 topips would be good.
But it felt like 10 minutes, guys. I got to tell you. So this is like
about 11 for me, but it's like I can only look at you, Rob, so long. Judy, I just keep looking at you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Okay, we'll see you around.
All right, have a good week, guys. Let's schedule another one. When do we?
Okay, I'm on it.
I'd like to do another one before I go on my holidays, if that's okay.
Yeah. When are you back?
When are you going on holidays?
The end of the month, so like the week of the. Are we on the 10th already?
Yeah.
So sometime in February we'll do another.
Let's see.
I'll send you a text.
How about the 24th?
No, that's too soon.
That's
you go after.
Okay, then the next one would be the 7th?
Yeah, something like that, right? About a month between, I think, is good.